In World War II, the Nazis started turning the dead into monsters.
S'il vous plaît.
A transport plane filled with American paratroopers soars over Nazi-occupied France. It's 1944, the turning point of the war. The squad has been given a critical mission: destroy a German radio jamming tower built atop an old church in a remote village. One of the soldiers, a young and inexperienced private named Boyce, nervously prepares for the jump. The rest of the squad doesn't have much faith in him, especially Tibbet, who constantly mocks him. Among the others are Rosenfeld, Grunauer, Chase the photographer, and Ford, a hardened explosives expert with a solid track record from previous missions. As the plane rattles through the sky, Boyce accidentally drops his lucky charm, a small chain. Tibbet snatches it up and teases him in front of the others. Just then, Sergeant Renson, the squad's commanding officer, steps into the main cabin. He quizzes the soldiers on the mission to keep them sharp. When it's Boyce's turn and Renson asks why the Nazis placed the tower on a church, the rookie freezes, unable to answer. Renson delivers a grim, final speech: they must show no mercy to the godless fascists. Hundreds of planes and thousands of troops won't make it past the heavily fortified beaches unless this tower is taken out. By 6 a.m., with just 90 minutes left until the drop, the sergeant heads back to the cockpit. The soldiers can do nothing but wait and hope. Suddenly, the plane shakes violently as nearby airstrikes light up the sky. As they get closer to their target, explosions grow louder and more intense. The aircraft dodges flak, but one by one, the other planes in the formation are blown out of the sky. Chaos erupts. The squad panics. Enemy fire tears through the fuselage. Some soldiers are hit. The signal light flashes red, almost time to jump. But before the green light appears, the plane is engulfed in flames. Several soldiers are thrown into the back, screaming as they burn alive. The survivors leap from the burning aircraft the moment the green light flashes. Boyce freezes, paralyzed by fear and the sheer horror around him, until the sergeant shoves him out into the gunfire-filled sky. Tumbling through the air, Boyce catches a glimpse of the battlefield below. He lands hard, near a pond, and nearly drowns, struggling to untangle himself from his parachute. Soaked and shaken, he grabs his weapon and runs into the forest. Along the way, he stumbles across Sergeant Renson, now captured and surrounded by German soldiers. The Nazis are mocking and tormenting him. Boyce readies his weapon to intervene, but Ford appears and stops him, urging caution. They can only watch in helpless rage as their commanding officer is executed. Ford calmly tells a shaken Boyce that their mission isn't to rescue the sergeant, it's to finish the job, no matter what it takes. The group pushes deeper into the woods, tense and alert. Suddenly, they hear footsteps nearby. Weapons ready, they brace for a fight, but it's just their fellow soldiers. The survivors reunite with a flood of relief. They cross an open field, scanning for more American troops. The mood lightens as the men crack jokes and laugh, trying to shake off the fear. But their guard slips. Without warning, one of them steps on a landmine. A deafening explosion tears through the air, and everything goes black. Boyce is one of the last to regain consciousness. Dazed and bruised, he crawls to safety. Survival is now the top priority, but the mission still hangs over them. Later, while regrouping, the squad stumbles across the mangled corpse of a strange animal. It's hard to identify, about the size of a dog, but with hooves and an unnaturally twisted body. Chase mutters that it might be a jackal, a so-called hellhound from the Bible. Tibbet rolls his eyes, dismissing the theory. He doesn't believe in myths or monsters. Still, the sight leaves everyone on edge. Then, a rustle nearby draws Boyce's attention. He signals the others to stay sharp. Moments later, a terrified young woman bursts through the trees, local, unarmed, and trying to flee. The soldiers stop her at gunpoint, fearing she might alert the Germans. Her name is Chloe. Cornered and terrified, she's forced to lead them to the village church. Boyce, who speaks some French, gently reassures her they're not here to hurt her. With no other option, Chloe guides them to the edge of the village. As they approach the church, Ford orders Boyce to keep an eye on her while the rest scout the area. Their arrival doesn't go unnoticed. Chloe's neighbor, Mrs. Lessner, is awakened by the noise and immediately alerts the German guards about a curfew violation. The soldiers begin moving in. Chloe urges Boyce to hide. When questioned, she stays calm and covers for the Americans. She clearly despises the Nazis, and after realizing these soldiers are different, she agrees to let them hide in her home while they plan their next move. Inside, she quickly shows them around, pointing out hiding spots in case of a raid. But something upstairs catches Tibbet's ear, a guttural, almost animalistic noise. He asks about it. Chloe says it's her sick aunt, but the sound suggests something far more disturbing. Chloe also has a younger brother, Paul, whom she's cared for ever since German troops murdered their parents. The soldiers settle in the cramped attic, quietly assembling weapons and reviewing their strategy. Suddenly, a scream shatters the silence. Outside, German soldiers execute a villager for reasons unknown. Chloe explains that such killings have become routine since the occupation. She warns that her home isn't safe for long. The Nazis patrol frequently. Ford promises they only need 4 hours. Tension rises as the group debates whether to delay the mission. To everyone's surprise, it's Boyce who speaks up. He reminds them of what the sergeant said: air support won't work until the tower is taken out. Tibbet mocks him again, calling him unfit for battle. But before the argument escalates, Paul appears and innocently asks Tibbet to play baseball. Tibbet, already on edge, snaps. Chloe gently explains that Paul believes all Americans play baseball. Tibbet walks off, fuming. Following Ford's orders, Boyce heads downstairs. As he moves through the hallway, he hears that same deep, hacking cough from Chloe's aunt. Curiosity gets the better of him. He cracks open the bedroom door, and stares in horror at a woman so deformed, she barely looks human. Her skin looks completely burned, her condition horrific. Chloe explains that ever since her aunt returned from the church, the German base, she hasn't spoken a single word. Chloe suspects the Nazis performed brutal experiments on her, leaving her physically and mentally destroyed. That same night, Tibbet and Chase head out to scout the German base, while Nazi troops begin another round of inspections in the village. Ford hears them approaching right away. He and Boyce quickly retreat to the attic to hide. Little Paul is already up there, tucked away. A German officer named Waffner knocks on Chloe's door, demanding to come in. He forces himself on her, pressuring her into submission. When she resists, Waffner calls for his men to search the attic after hearing a faint sound. Fortunately, Paul blocks their path. He distracts the soldier by handing him a baseball. The German sneers, spits on the ball, and tosses it back to the boy. To Ford and Boyce's immense relief, the soldiers leave without spotting them. Waffner threatens to send Chloe to the church for re-education if she doesn't obey. Cornered and terrified, she reluctantly gives in, disgusted by what she's being forced to do. But Boyce can't just stand by. He finally steps in, pointing his weapon at Waffner. Ford, seeing no other option, joins him. Together, they overpower the officer and tie him up. Waffner is now their prisoner, defenseless and furious. Ford orders Boyce to head toward the church tower while the village is still cloaked in darkness. Moving through the woods, Boyce sneaks to a nearby entrance and waits for the right moment to slip inside. From his hiding spot, he sees a truck pull up, its bed packed with people whose bodies are horribly disfigured, barely clinging to life. Inside the base, horrific experiments are being conducted on civilians and dead soldiers alike. The man in charge is Dr. Schmidt, the mastermind behind these inhuman tests, using both French citizens and fallen Germans. Boyce watches as the doctor arrives to witness the flamethrower execution of failed subjects. Fire! Boyce doesn't understand the full purpose behind the experiments, but he pushes forward with the mission. He moves silently through the dark forest. Suddenly, a truck carrying German soldiers rumbles down the nearby road, forcing him to dive into the bushes. Out of nowhere, a snarling dog lunges from the shadows, growling and barking furiously. It chases Boyce relentlessly, leaving him no choice but to climb into the back of the passing truck. Inside the truck bed, he finds piles of disfigured, lifeless bodies. Overwhelmed by panic, he hides beneath one of the corpses to stay undetected. The truck rolls into the church compound. Two German soldiers begin unloading the cargo, giving Boyce a brief window to slip away unnoticed. He sneaks toward the tower, surrounded on all sides by enemies. He makes it to the underground level of the church, which feels more like a dungeon than a base. From behind the walls, he hears muffled cries, people locked inside tiny cells. As two guards walk by, he ducks into the shadows to avoid being seen. Drawn by disturbing noises, Boyce peers into one of the cells, and freezes. Inside is a grotesque hybrid of man and something else entirely. A creature twisted by unnatural science. Meanwhile, Tibbet and Chase make it safely back to Chloe's house. Boyce ventures deeper into the church's hidden laboratories, searching for answers about the terrifying mutations. Above him, a body bag swings from a hook. He opens it to reveal a barely living man, veins pulsing with some kind of serum. On a nearby table, Boyce finds a tray of syringes. He grabs one as a sample, intending to show it to Ford. Boyce begins to suspect that the red liquid is behind the monstrous transformations he's witnessed. Suddenly, he hears a voice nearby, weak, pleading for help. He pulls back a curtain and recoils in horror. A severed human head, still alive, begging to be freed. Shaken, he backs away, and then discovers Rosenfeld, bound to a bed. Boyce rushes to free him, but he's interrupted by the arrival of German doctors. Hiding once again, he watches as they inject a soldier's corpse with the mysterious serum. The result is a failure, the body doesn't respond, and the doctors casually discard it. Seizing the moment, Boyce pulls a giant needle from Rosenfeld's body and begins to free him, determined to get his comrade out alive. Both of them escape the church through the sewer system, and manage to pull it off. They reach a safe house, where Boyce, shaken and breathless, stammers out a terrifying account of what he saw inside the church. Ford struggles to piece together the story and realizes Boyce's focus has shifted away from their mission and onto the experiments he witnessed. Boyce reveals the serum to Ford. They interrogate Waffner about it, but the prisoner remains tight-lipped, refusing to divulge anything useful, even under brutal torture. Fueled by rage, Chloe suddenly lunges at Waffner and slashes him in the leg with a knife. Ford's patience snaps. He becomes harsher and orders the German to be hung up to intensify the interrogation. Boyce tries to intervene, but Ford strikes him hard across the face, forcing him out of the room. As the squad prepares to launch an assault on the church, Chase tends to Waffner. They need the fascist prisoner as a human shield for their planned retreat. Suddenly, Waffner pretends to lose consciousness, then makes a desperate bid for freedom, shooting Chase badly with a pistol. Blindfolded and frantic, the German fires wildly around him, but a nearby group quickly stops him. With his last breath, Chase asks for his camera, and everyone watches in horror as he succumbs to his wounds. Desperate to save him, Boyce injects Chase with the serum. Minutes later, Chase rises, looking remarkably healthy. He even prods his bullet wounds, feeling no pain. Not only that, the injection makes him significantly stronger, leaving everyone stunned and uneasy. But soon, the serum's effects turn dark. Chase's body begins to grotesquely mutate, his features twisting and contorting as a violent aggression takes hold of him. His eyes turn bloodshot, like he's about to transform into something else. Ford fires several shots at him, but it doesn't help. Waffner reveals that the serum can turn dead soldiers into mutated creatures, something like zombies. While they're still talking, Chase rises again. Before he can attack anyone, Boyce shoves him to the ground and smashes his head. In the chaos, Waffner makes a run for it. He slips down from the attic and grabs Paul as he's trying to escape. A group of German soldiers arrive to back him up and take the boy hostage. Chloe helplessly chases after their army truck but can't catch up. She turns back to Boyce for help. Determined to help Chloe rescue her brother, Boyce refuses to follow Ford's orders. He declares their mission isn't just about burning down the church tower, they have to put an end to these human experiments once and for all. Ford reluctantly agrees after Boyce promises he can get the team inside the church. The decision is made, and preparations for the final assault begin. Inside the church, Waffner arrives with the little boy and rushes to the lab. Believing it will instantly heal his wounds, Waffner injects himself with the serum despite the doctor's attempts to stop him. According to Dr. Schmidt, the serum has never been tested on the living, so the effects on Waffner are unknown. The commander takes 2 doses and lets out a horrible screech. Then he tells everyone in the room that he's regained his strength, even though half his face was blown off during the shootout with the Americans. Meanwhile, in a secluded part of the forest, plans are made to infiltrate the church. Everyone is assigned roles to split up during the mission. First, Chloe deliberately exposes herself to the German soldiers chasing her through town. They try to shoot her, but she skillfully escapes through the woods, leading them into a trap. One soldier chases her all the way to a nearby bridge. Thinking he's cornered her, he tries to attack, but after Chloe knocks him down, she laughs. Ford appears and knocks the soldier out cold. They then rig the captured soldier with explosives and use him as a distraction to break into the church. After the explosion wounds several other soldiers, Rosenfeld and Tibbet launch a frontal assault to divert attention. Ford, Boyce, and Chloe slip into the base through the sewer system. The German soldiers are alerted to the small group of Americans attacking, and chaos erupts. Inside, Boyce and Ford carry out their mission to plant explosives around the church, while Chloe refuses to wait and rushes off to find Paul. In a corridor, she holds 2 soldiers at gunpoint and shoots one after he refuses to reveal her brother's location. In the communications room, Ford slashes a soldier's throat to set timers for 18 minutes. Anyone who stays in the lab longer won't make it out alive. One soldier tricks Chloe into a cell, pretending her brother is inside. He opens the cage, and she finds only half a body lying on the floor. Luckily, Boyce reaches Chloe just before the soldier can shoot her. As they leave, they see a zombie dragging the soldier inside the cell to devour him. Trying to stay as quiet as possible, they make their way to the lab, where Paul soon calls out to Chloe by name. They reunite and find a way out, but the zombie soldier grabs Chloe and drags her back into the room. Paul escapes to the village while Chloe distracts the zombie, shooting and fighting it. She manages to land several shots to its head, but the mutant doesn't stop. The zombie chases her down the corridor until she finds a flamethrower and burns the creature to ashes. Waffner, now mutated and possessing superhuman strength, spots Ford planting a bomb on the radio tower. He knocks the American soldier down and clearly has something sinister planned. Meanwhile, while Boyce is planting explosives in the lab, Dr. Schmidt presses a gun to his head and orders him to follow his commands. But Boyce fights back with everything he's got, and a struggle breaks out between them. Dr. Schmidt tries to stab Boyce with a knife but fails, and ends up dead. Chloe returns to the village where Tibbet and Rosenfeld are battling the base's defenders. The firefight goes on for a while until Paul suddenly runs into the middle of the battle. Tibbet rushes to grab the boy and rescue him from enemy fire but gets wounded in the process. Chloe sets up an ambush, takes out the remaining Germans, and then tends to Tibbet's injuries. Elsewhere in the base, Waffner overpowers Ford, throwing him around the room before impaling him on a meat hook. He reveals to Ford that the serum was created using the bodies of villagers to distill an ancient power from black resin that's been flowing beneath the settlement for centuries. Their experiments aim to create immortal, unbeatable soldiers to serve Germany. Suddenly, Boyce attacks Waffner, but Waffner hurls him across the room. The zombified Waffner opens compartments filled with the bodies of fallen soldiers injected with the serum. In the heat of the moment, Ford frees himself from the meat hook and injects the serum to instantly heal his wounds. Knowing what's coming, he sacrifices himself to stop Waffner, striking him from behind. Their fight continues, and their bodies rapidly mutate during the battle. Though Ford can't defeat Waffner, he manages to roll an oxygen tank over to Waffner's feet. Boyce shoots the tank, and the explosion sends Waffner tumbling into a pit of tar. Boyce tries to lead the leader to safety, but along the way, Ford locks himself in a cage, realizing there's no chance of escape. Before he's trapped, he orders Boyce to blow up the tower since he wasn't able to plant the explosives himself because of Waffner. Ford believes no side should control the serum, so its existence must be kept a secret. After some convincing, Boyce follows his orders, and Ford triggers the explosives in the lab. Boyce sets the timer and runs as the church and the radio jamming tower collapse behind him. The rest of the villagers gather outside as the radio announces the Allied forces' victory in the war. Boyce reunites with Tibbet, Rosenfeld, Chloe, and Paul in the village. He sadly tells them that Ford didn't make it. Boyce reports the mission to the commanding officer and credits Ford for their success. The officer asks Boyce about rumors of an underground lab beneath the church. Remembering Ford's words, Boyce denies seeing anything unusual. Now he believes the zombie experiments and human testing must remain a secret, because if the serum gets out, many more people could be hurt. What do you think? Did Boyce do the right thing by keeping the secret experiments under wraps? Or should he have revealed the horrific truth about the fascist twisted plans to the world? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button, and don't forget to subscribe. Catch you in the next video.